Well, let's fix it. It's bugging me. Well, real quick, just wanted to say that this will be my test base. I didn't want to mar up my fancy base that I had, so I wanted to just get a temporary mounting system, so when I'm flipping this thing around, I'm not going to chew up or mess up my proper base. So there are a couple things I think are the problem. Number one, my bushing needs to be tighter. It's just too loose right there. The other thing is the shaft, when I pressed it in here, I believe is bent. And the other thing is all this has a lot of slop. It's not bottoming out, but I just am not, when I push this, it seems to bind somewhere. So I'm not sure where the problem is. So what I'm going to start with is the disassembling, taking these parts off, take the flywheel out, and maybe remake the shaft and remount the bushing so that I have a tighter tolerance so there isn't this wiggle or slop in that. Forgot to hit record. I'm just taking this thing apart. The other thing is this screw broke off, so I'm going to mill it flat and then we'll try to drill it out. We'll see how this goes. We got this apart. I'm gonna have to drill this out and re-tap this or remake this part, but I don't really want to remake this part. So I'll see what I can do to salvage this. We'll get this bushing out of here. I do want to ream. Well, I don't know if I need to. Actually, I don't need to take it out, but I do want to ream it to a known size. And this is in there pretty tight. I'm going to try to knock this out, and then I'll probably drill this and I'll make a new shaft. That's the plan anyway, that's going to be straight, because it's not straight. So oh yeah, that could work. Well, we're going to use, this is a 9/32. We're either going to use that or this one, which this is a 5/16, probably the 9/32, but we're going to ream this out, and that's going to be the diameter we're going to shoot for the new shaft, at least the thicker part. The press fit end can be one dimension, and the end for the flat that goes into the crank, that can be another dimension. But what I'm after is the center portion to be a really good, tight, clean fit so that we have some good motion. So let's determine which one of these we're going to use, and then I think what we'll do is get set up in the mill, and we will mill it, and that will give us our reference point, and that's what we're shooting for. Oh, that ought to be enough. Should probably just let that set. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go ahead and wipe this down, and we'll let that set before we go any further. Well, we've reamed the bushing, and we made a new shaft. We got those together. I'm still not sure if I need to change these screws out. I'm sure that would help, but we're gonna wait on that. We've got this mounted up in this test board, which I'm gonna hang on to for future builds, but let's see how we're doing. Well, everybody, I'm going to call that part 5 of the N.A.M.E.S model finger engine build. I'm going to leave this rough. I'm not going to polish it up. I'm just going to call this my very first model engine that I've ever made. We have it functional. I don't think this design is ever going to be perfect to where it runs smooth. Now, I'm not an engineer. I'm sure that there's very minute changes you can make to this in order to make it run much smoother. I'm not sure what those are, and I honestly don't have the patience to continue to fiddle with it and mess with it. It's a cool concept. It does work. I'm quite proud of all the parts that I made. I did have to drill this out because I broke the screw, the cap head screw off. Those 440s are super small. My fault. But I did make a new shaft. This one is bent. You can hear it kind of. This was the one that was in there, and I believe it was bent. Plus, the tolerance was a little too loose, I think, on the back with the bushing. So I made a new bushing, or I reamed the bushing, and I made a new shaft. Shaft isn't perfect. My dimensions are a little off, but regardless, we have more of a functional finger engine, and this is going to go on my shelf as my first model engine build. Let's see if we can get this thing going. Takes a little coordination to keep it going. You get the point. It's a little bit frustrating. I really wish this would have moved smoother with the design, but I did the connecting rods. I got everything where they should be. Some of you out there that are really into model engines may know exactly what's wrong, but this is now sort of functional. You can get it going if you concentrate and you're just paying attention. I'm closing this video out here though. It is better than it was, and now I'm going to permanently just put it on the shelf as just a model piece. This is a very rudimentary version of that engine, but I'm quite proud of what I accomplished with that. I'll make a future engine. I've been looking at some more simple beginner style model engine builds as well. McCabe's engine, there's a Wigwag, there's all kinds of them out there. I'm looking for something very beginner, easy-ish, but I would like to do a steam or air-powered style, something I can power with a little bit of air. So with that said, let's close this video out here before we get this too wordy. I know that's something I want to improve this year, the lingering on, which I'm doing right now. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody.